Hello, one and all, and welcome back to the USA States Cup OSU tournament. Here we are with our anti-penultimate match of the weekend, and on paper, according to seedings, potentially the closest of three. It is the seed 16 versus the seed 17, Tennessee versus Stateless. Both of these teams coming up with some pretty big names this year, right? Tennessee, of course, a very common roster, the standard Koda, Kiryu, Kips, Suicune, Zitako roster, and SRR, a new player who I'm a bit unfamiliar with. Meanwhile, on Stateless, with some new players in Coral, going to be the biggest upcoming player for the Stateless team. Did pretty well for himself in the 4WC scouting tournament. So excited to see how he fares in the USA States Cup. But my name is Habawobe. Joining me on the cast is going to be Bless. How are you feeling about the matchup?
Good evening, Habawawa. I am feeling pretty good about this one. This one looks to be an exciting one, as you mentioned. The closest of all the matchups, just based purely off of seeding, of course, seed 16 versus seed 17. You can't really get any closer than that. And as you mentioned about some of these rosters, I'm just looking at the history. Tolik actually coming back from a really big break. Last time they played in the USA States Cup was in, or at least for Stateless, was in 2021, and then taking a break for the past 4 years and only now finally coming back. So long time returning player for them. It will be interesting to see how they do coming back into some tournaments. But overall for these two teams, it looks like we have lots of mechanics, as you always tend to see. Of course, lots of, I mean, it's much easier to find a lot of players who can just play some mechanics. But over on Tennessee, of course, the Koda and Suicune duo looking to put in some damage on the gimmicks as well. So if we want to begin talking about how this matchup might be shaping up, that might be something interesting to look into. What do you think, Hubba?
Yeah, I do concur. I think Tennessee is going to really be leaning into the hidden mod throughout this matchup. Coral and RRR winner can play ball on hidden, but none of them are really hidden specialists. Meanwhile, you look on that other side with Koda and Suicune, as previously mentioned, both very, very strong hidden preference players. Zitako, he's going to ball out on whatever you throw at him as a third, so Zitako going to be very solid for that core on the side of Tennessee. Their counter-offensive to Stateless's mechanics is going to be that Firyu Kips duo as well. But I'm interested to see. I think the real question mark is going to be Hard Rock's. Stateless have a bit stronger Hard Rock roster in my eyes in comparison. Like, Tennessee can play speed really well, and DT mechanics are an upside of their game, but a bit more of a hidden in speed team as opposed to a Hard Rock team that Stateless can bring to the table. So we'll have to see how it all pans out. But first, we have a couple of warm-ups to get through. It's starting off with White Rose. This is a map I haven't seen in a hot minute. It's going to be Stateless's warm-up.
To you, pretty well-known artist within the OSU space. I believe they make lots of interesting rhythm and aim control type of maps. A little bit of finger control as well. Difficult to see sort of intent. Maybe they just want to play the map for this warm-up. But yeah, touching back on, you mentioned Coral. I did hear from a little birdie that they are a little bit skill cap pilled, so we'll have to see how they fare on the lower SRs. The average SR of this pool is only around 6.5, so going to be pretty low, especially on the lower end for these open rank players. And then you even look at something like the free mod 1, which we've seen by a lot of the lower seeds trying to upset a higher seed team, just sitting all the way down at almost 6 stars flat on the no mod. So gonna be a little bit of a test of consistency. Fortunately, there aren't too many long maps. The overall drain time not gonna be too long. Actually, the free mod 1, the longest map in the pool, with only a length of 3 minutes and 58 seconds, not even crossing the 4-minute length barrier. And then the next longest map after that is going to be the no mod 4, the creator, some 280 BPM alt, or maybe we call it 140 these days. But yeah, it's going to be clocking in around 3.5 minutes as well. So not too many long consistency tests.
Yeah, in my eyes, the big difference in pick strategies for teams in the round of 32 is, are you a consistency team, or are you looking for a bit more variance? If you're looking for variance, you're probably looking into maps like their creator, like this DT1, which can be a lot more volatile in nature. But if you're a consistency team, you're looking a bit more towards maps like No Mod 3, where it's just that AR 9.3 standard stream style map, a little bit of Axel decel, one cut stream, fairly FCable, and that aforementioned free mod 1, one of the longer maps in the pool, but one of the easiest to FC regardless of your comfort mod in that scenario. Um, that is the big question mark in my eyes. Which of these teams is going to be feeling like a consistency team, and which of them is looking for that high variance? And I mean, history would portray that the consistency team is to be Tennessee, a bit of low SR demons in that Zatako, Zuikun, and Koda trio. But Stateless looking to play ball again. This is one of Stateless's higher seed showings in a hot minute. So I am excited to see them on some of the skill cap maps.
Mhm. And as you do mention that this is actually, we can go into some of the history between these two states. This is actually their second time meeting. Their first time was just a couple years ago, actually, in the losers quarterfinals, and it looks like Stateless actually ended up winning that one 6-4. So maybe a little bit of history between these two teams. I'm not sure if too many of these players will have super strong memories of that, but of course with the match being so close as that one, I think some of the longer tenured players such as Suicune and Koda will definitely have that fresh in their memories, and also I imagine Firyu and Zatako. And actually, it looks like SRR was also on that roster, just on another name. They went by My Angel Ninja back then. Yes, and they actually did play under the name SRR in 2023 as well.
Yeah, returning player there to look out for. Shoutouts to Yoshi Lover, who is our local USC historian, while we await our second warm-up here. Both of these teams have had struggles in their first round matchups in the past. Both Tennessee and Stateless will have only won their first round matchup twice out of all of the USC showings. So that's 9 times for Tennessee, 8 times for Stateless, neither of which have a strong history of winning their first match out. So, I mean, either way you shape it, this is going to be good news for one of these teams
That is true.
out of this first matchup.
Mm-hmm. And some more adjacent information about the specific seeding matchup of 16 versus 17. It seems like seed 17 has actually won more often than seed 16. That's going to be 6 times out of 9 total 9 total USA States Cups we've had, where the lower seed in this matchup has come out on top. Of course, with such a close seeding, 16 versus 17, we do have plenty of room for that kind of variance to come in the results. Going back to the bans for a little bit, I do want to point out that some of the hidden maps are actually a little bit on the medium to longer side. The hidden one going to be clocking in around just around 3 minutes, and actually the hidden two around 2.5. So not super long, but still probably something that they want to consider banning regardless of the consistency versus high roll elements.
For sure.
Given the what the duo of Koda and Suiken can probably do on something like the Hidden 2.
And that is the question, right? Like, Coral, very solid hidden player, all things considered, but I don't really consider them a reading specialist, especially on the kind of patience maps that are presented to us in this hidden pool this year. So, I mean, if you are Stateless, you just are getting rid of one of those hidden maps, or maybe even the free mod too, if you're worried about just like the short map FC consistency, if Tennessee tries to pull out some easy shenanigans.
Yeah, maybe you combine the two schools of thought of looking at the mod pools and skill sets, and also looking at the consistency versus high roll angle. The free mod 2 is definitely a candidate, as playing hidden on that map is a little bit of torture, and we've seen lots of interesting mod combinations try and get around that, namely easy flashlight. I'm not sure if we've seen easy hiddens yet, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if we have.
Uh, it was on the match that you were not commentating. Georgia did all 3 players on easy. with one of them on easy flashlight and the other on easy hidden, and they nearly got a 3-way FC. Absurd, absolutely
Okay.
absurd, an absurd team score. But
All right. I
so
mean,
showing off
yeah.
some of the potential here that these old style rules can offer in United States Cup. But it is going to be Stateless winning the pick order here, likely to go second pick, because if you are Tennessee, again, we previously mentioned not a ton of history between these two teams. There is a big question mark on what Stateless can play. So giving Tennessee some extra picks, opening up some opportunities for breakpoints, feels like a safe bet. Unless they go first pick and are feeling ballsy, I guess. Like, which is sometimes the strategy for these earlier stage matches where you need less maps to win overall, just like choosing your own
Mhm.
fate. And that is going to be what they're doing, actually, a choose your own
Yeah, they're
fate
just
method.
gonna shove it down their throats. They're
Yeah, it is very curious there, but I suppose what they're trying to do is make use of some of these tapping maps available to them, something like a DT2 or a No Mod 5 both have those density elements. All the mechanics players on Tennessee side a little bit more privy to the higher approach rate side of things, so maybe some potential reading gap there to be determined. That is one of the fun things about United States Cup DT pools, is just like the old style maps shows a different looks for those mechanics players.
Yeah, for sure. The DT3 we did just see in one of the matches right before this some strange, some awkward wide-angle linears on top of some geometric aim with some overlap reading as well. So that will definitely pose some reading troubles if you're not super comfortable on the more dense aspects of DT aim and DT mechanics. Other than that, we do have a fair amount of tapping picks in the pool, as you were alluding to, the No Mod 3, the No Mod 5. The Fremont 3, and also even the DT2, a bit of burst speed, 234 BPM, burst, and general consistency mechanics. But we will be seeing the bans coming out. It will be Tennessee opting to ban second, and Stateless is going to be throwing out that hidden 2 ban sort of as we expected. And a quick Hard Rock 1 ban in response. So hidden 2 maintaining its 100% ban percentage. Unless it was just banned in the match that I had just missed on the A stream.
I mean, Hidden 2 very unpopular. Even in my match against
Yeah.
Carolina, that was a map where I thought they would just leave it open because they had Bochi Cookie and they banned it against us. So, like, it is a very
Yeah.
divisive map
I mean,
in this pool. Like, the reading scaling from this pool in comparison to last year's round of 32 is very, very stark.
yeah, I mean, just AR7 hidden right away from the round of 32. That is a bit of a rough map, and especially with, I believe the slider tick rate is also set to something like 2 or above. It is quite an old style map, but not really surprising to see as well. You know, Dada loves to pull some weird things, throw some weird shit at us, and we kind of love him for that here.
And I was curious about the HRs. It seems like Tennessee have scouted the same thing I have. I think Stateless just a little bit more HR consistency, and they're going to be getting that HR1 out of the way as a result of that. Just getting rid of that high variance, very repetitive HR1 in that slot, 260 BPM aim there. One of those things like where if your focus gets dwindled for even just a moment, you are going to be finding those hiccups. So it is going to be that HR1 ban and immediately the DT2 pick. I am on a roll today, plus.
Yeah, I mean, hey, this is mechanics versus gimmick, and you have read that one correctly. We are going straight into mechanics pick for the mechanics team. It's going to be DT2 A1 featuring Shihori Bamboo Dance. Unfortunately, this is not the OWC diff. This is the Quarry's Insane right beneath it. I don't know if that's unfortunate or fortunate, depending. The answer will change depending on who you ask, really. But it looks like we already have most of the rosters in the lobby already. Destros, Relic, OS, and Coral in for the side of Stateless, and SRR and Firu in for Tennessee. Just waiting on the last player. I think he would probably go for Kips for this one, as pretty much you mean, but no, it's actually going to be Zatako in.
Yeah, Zatako just going to be a very consistent third player for Tennessee, no matter what skill set they crack up to play. SRR, of course, being that secondary mechanics player for Tennessee this year. Meanwhile, on the other side, you're looking at Relicos and Destros. Very fun names there on the Stateless side. Both of which is the core tapping roster. Of course, RRR winner, who, for the course of this match, I'll be referring to Donnie from here on out. More of a DT1 player, so you may see them back in for some of the high AR stuff in the future. But this is going to be the core mechanics and tapping roster for Stateless. And good luck, have fun's in the chat, ready to see how the consistency chops up on a map like this, where you basically need a double FC to be placing on the positive side of the stats for this weekend. So consistency is a must show.
Yeah, this one, depending on who you ask, is going to be pretty farmable. The bursts are... Excuse me. None of the bursts are really too long, and the aim as well relatively comfortable. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of awkward stuff, but of course, being mapped by Quarry, Quarry is insane. It's going to be relatively straightforward compared to some of the other maps that we'll see in this pool. And we are into the thick of things already. Some early misses coming out, actually from Coral there, not what you want to see. A little bit unfortunate as we do get into the first verse.
Yeah, and this is a tournament where you see similar nerve scalings to something like an OWC. This is just a tournament where there are dedicated historians, right? Somebody like a Yoshi Lover, like the tournament with a lot of history, you're going to be seeing a lot of nerves. And so some accuracy hiccups, that combo hiccup from Coral to kick us off. A near over-aim for Relicos caught at the last moment on that longer burst, but all three FCs remaining true for Tennessee, keeping this 50k wall separated between them, which, given the DT extra score, is not going to be a lot going into the second half.
Yeah, and as you were alluding to on the historians and just the general overall prestige of this tournament, it's not... well, it is partially the prestige, but it's also about state pride to some degree. These players are going to be very proud playing for their states, maybe a little bit less so on the side of Stateless, as unfortunately their home states do not have enough players to form a full team. But as we are yapping away, it looks like Relicos is going to be finding the second miss of this map, following up Coral's miss earlier on, and that is really going to start sending the lead in favor of Tennessee as they still hold on to their three-way FC.
Yeah, but this section incoming, those jumps incredibly tricky in this section of the map. The spacing increasing just a little bit, but still, the only drop is a double break from SRR Fury, the recovery combo for Relicos inbound. Coral still holding on to that reverse choke as well. Zatako needs to FC the rest of the map to keep this score from skyrocketing too fast, but even then, it is the two combos to one in our latter half. Coral and Destros are playing to win, and if anybody falls on the side of Stateless, it will be an early breakpoint. Luckily, it's just Relicos. It's an over-aim on the burst. Not going to be too disastrous, but Zatako, Coral, and Destros all in must-hold situations.
Yeah, and the score lead, despite Relicos' break, he was the smallest combo, as you mentioned, and that score lead does continue to go towards the favor of Stateless, finally flipping over. And we'll see if they can close this out. This does look like they'll be pretty comfortable, but Relicos, hold on. A small miss aim into the end. It's still holding close, around 40k. There's still a few more notes to go, but finally into the ending spinner, and that will be Stateless putting away this first point, safely securing their first pick of the match.
Safely is a little bit of a stretch. Very, very scary pick there, but it was that intercambing method from Coral. Miss early, so the nerves are less at the end. Didn't see any cursor shake. Able to close out that 900k support. The score line for Tennessee is not bad either, of course, that 800k average, but unfortunately the double break came at just about the worst time in that in section, giving Stateless the leeway to avoid a break point.
Yep, no double FCs landing them the top half of stats for these teams, but almost a double FC for Stateless, and that is better than what Tennessee can say for themselves, unfortunately. And that will be the end of our first pick, as Tennessee looks to try and poke some holes in the defense of the Stateless squad. I would not be surprised to see them just go immediately into something like the Hidden 1 or even the Free Mod 2. Of course, there's also the No Mod 2 if they really want to go for something gimmicky, but of course that does take away the Hidden Mod. It is just going to be no mod for everyone, as the mod would indicate, but it is going to be the Free Mod 2, and maybe we can look forward to some more interesting mod combinations.
Yeah, now here is where the question mark comes in, right? Who is going to be the designated low AR player for Stateless? Because looking at it on the wall, like, you'd assume it is Donnie, you'd assume it's Triple R winner, but more of an easy player than a hidden specialist, so we may even see an easy flashlight come out from her to
Yeah.
avoid that hidden mod, and then like Coral HR or something feels like a safe bet. Maybe even a double HR from Stateless. But Tennessee, you are seeing this first pick because you are seeing an abundance of practice, I'm sure. Expect lots of mod shenanigans on this one.
Yeah, for sure. I do think... Excuse me. Maybe we see an easy hidden from Donnie as well. But we are currently waiting on the third player from Stateless to step in the lobby. It is Wins and Relic at the moment. Relic, it's difficult to say where these two players are going to end up in terms of mods. It seems like they're both pretty well-rounded on, and just in general. And we will see Donnie in the lobby. Gonna be looking for an interesting mod combination from them. On the other side, we have Koda, Kips, and Zetako. Kips most likely just gonna be the Hard Rock player. Koda, I wouldn't be surprised to see them on interesting mods. If anyone, it's probably going to be them. Maybe Zetako, but they don't seem to be too favorable towards gimmick-related skill sets from what I've seen, or from what I've heard, I suppose.
Yeah, my main worry here, assuming Wins is on Nomad or Hidden, like, if Relicos is on Hard Rock, I'm a bit worried, and that does seem to be the case. In this previous pick, in that DT2, a lot of Relicos' misses were down to nerves shake, so putting him on the precision pick is a little
Yeah.
scary here. Meanwhile, Tennessee, actually a lot less volatile than I was expecting. It's just the double Hard Rock and the Hidden, as opposed to some easy shenanigans here. But the double break on the first stream immediately showing how scary this map can be. Wins having some early map struggles here on this Fremont 2 to slide that lead back to Tennessee very slowly.
Yeah, and this map, pretty mean on the Hard Rock, especially with the spacing and the awkward angles that you have in here. But the Hidden, likewise, especially with the CS5, it's going to be really awkward to aim, and also, even on Hidden, it is still quite spaced out, so some of that awkward Hidden linear flow, and you're seeing right there, Wins going to be safe through the linears, but those are quite tricky to hit. And we are into the build-up section, the bridge section, and it is a small advantage for Tennessee, as all three of their combos look to have recovered nicely, and it's really just Wins still struggling on this hidden mod for Stateless. And actually, there goes Donnie as well, dropping their combo in the no mod. That is going to be quite disastrous for them, I will say, as that score lead is already ballooned up to around 300,000 in the favor of Tennessee.
Yeah, Coda, ever consistent on the hidden mod, going to be the main reason for Tennessee clutching up in this latter half. Kips, unfortunately, to find the break, clocks up the 500k on the HR as well, but from start to finish, this was looking like the Coda show. Other than that dastardly first stream, one single tap double away from a near 2 million score Coda with a reverse choke. And the near 1 million score, 973k. Phenomenal stuff there from Tennessee, getting their first point in dominant fashion.
Yep, much more comfortable than what Stateless saw on their own DT2 pick. That is for sure. So teams tied up at 1-1 each securing their own picks, and the ball is going to be back in Stateless's court to try and see how they want to push forward with their mechanics. I mean, you seem to be on a pretty good roll with your predictions in terms of the picks and bans. What do you think they're going to be going for here?
Hard Rock 2. This is my lock of the week. Because after that free mod 2, they see like the precision players having a little bit of struggle there. Could be the move. Could be the move.
Yeah. It's
Maybe.
definitely an interesting angle, not what I expected after we've been talking a good bit about the tapping picks. You know, maybe in a mod 3,
I
no
just
mod
think
5, but
I think that DT2 was a scare. I think like 50k score on a DT map is near nothing. Like, especially on a
that is
pool like
true.
this, like you may want to pivot given how close that was, but I suppose remains to be seen, right? Like a lot of the it seemed like a tapping consistency issue more than an aim issue. Tennessee's misses on that DT2 were more aim oriented in that middle section since this double 700k. Like
Yeah, hence the double break on the aim.
yeah, the free mod 3 a bit more tapping oriented. You probably want to avoid that. No mod 5 featuring those tech elements. I think HR2 just feels maybe a little bit cozy. I just got a Windows upgrade pop up. Please don't do that, Windows.
That is very annoying. Bad Windows. Windows bad. Anyway, gonna be awaiting the next pick of Stateless, and no, it will be the free mod 3, interestingly enough. So despite Tennessee looking really good on the tapping, maybe Stateless didn't have someone watching the stream, observing how exactly they got the point. So they could be walking into a bit of a trap here, as Tennessee did look really good on the tapping aspects of that DT2 earlier, only missing on the aim.
hmm Yeah, if it's any consolation, I think the main question mark here is going to be mods again. Like, I think Coral's going to be in on this, who's going to be quite nice on Hidden Hard Rock, I think, for this pick for some extra score. Um, and overall, there's a sense of, like, HR comfort difference, bar none. So, like, Firyu, HR is probably likely, Zataka maybe Hidden. This is a scary pick, but Stateless very strong on the tapping regardless.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is a question of the mods, and I think it's, as you're mentioning, who's going to be taking the hidden on this one. Excuse me, as Donnie, I'm not too familiar with the tapping game, but as you were alluding to, you're expecting more of like Coral and the other mechanics crew to be coming in, like Destros and the like Relic. And we actually do see Relic and Destros in the lobby right now. So there is a bit of a question regarding the mod comfortability. Perhaps one thing that they can kind of relieve a sigh of relief regarding is that the AR is 9.6. So even if you do take that hidden mod, it is not going to be too dense. But we will see how those mods are shaping up in just a bit, as the GLHFs are coming into the chat, and we should be entering the map shortly.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, no Coral. It's going to be Talik hopping in for their first map of the match. All three mechanic specialists on the
Yep.
offensive for Kita Saitama. It's going to be 220 BPM stamina check for this one. Lots of linears, some mild finger control in there with some of the quads and triples in the latter half, but starting us off, lots of quints, a couple longer bursts in the 9-note category, and traditional mods for each side. Look at the symmetry here, bless. It's Ardrox in the
That is
middle, hits on the
very
outside.
appealing, yeah. Very visually pleasing to the eye. A note about Talik, they do seem to be quite the tapping aficionado. Lots of really good tapping plays on their profile. In fact, that's sort of what they've sort of filled it up with, so not super surprised to see them in here. Perhaps the DT2 stepping out due to some of the heavier aim elements, as we did see the double break on the aim from Tennessee's side. Unfortunately, we are going to be seeing speed players breaking on aim in the early parts of this map, as Talik and Velikos are going to drop, also traded by SRR. And so it's just Destros on the hidden up against the hidden of Zatako and the Nomad of Firu. And this map is relatively short, just a minute and 43 seconds long, so we're already almost halfway through, and this is a decent lead, just around 100k, now cusping that threshold. As Tennessee look to further increase their lead, as there goes another set of breaks from Talik and Relicos.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Relico's just finding these consistency woes. And Talikin for their first map, great accuracy, but these mild aim misses. Destros on a solo mission at this point, given the consistency factor. Furio does trade it right before the break there. So it is Zatako now on the Soul FC for Tennessee. If he finds the drop on the hidden, Destros may have a bit of an out with Talik and Relicos matching that recovery combo on SRR, but I'm not seeing any hiccups. The accuracy going up for Zatako and down for Destros as the map continues on. Fury with a bit of a fall apart, but still it's up to these higher combo FCs, and there is the final note. 2.3 million gonna be enough for Tennessee to take the dub here with a 268k margin. It's just that double miss for both Talik and Relicos right in the middle of the map.
Yeah, some unfortunate misses gonna be resulting in quite a score lead for Tennessee. 800,000 is the number, perhaps a little bit deceptive in terms of the differences. Stateless do look pretty comfortable on the tapping elements of that, but no, it's actually just going to be Tennessee snapping back with a Nomad 2 pick, confident in their dominance on the skill set now after having, well, first of all, stolen away the free mod 2, and second of all, been extremely close on the DT2 where they effectively only lost because of aim. So this Nomad 3 pick making a lot of sense for them, as I think, especially after a score line like that one, the one we just saw in Fremont 3, this is looking to be, or apologies for me, I have just completely out of it and thinking in canonical terms when we're playing the USA States Cup. This is Nomad 2, this is Tech! This is not the Streams map! This is not the Nomad 3!
We've been baited. We've been baited.
I have been baited.
It is Glacier. We are in for Tech with some reading overlap, right? This map, plenty of longer sliders, some slider tick gimmick in the beginning half. Be sure to turn off your storyboard. It can affect some of the gameplay with it covering some of the notes, but I'm curious to see the roster here. Stateless pulling up with the gimmick-oriented one. Wins Donnie and Coral versus Coda, Kips, and SRR. The question mark being, where Suicune? Like, maybe not here for this match? This feels like the kind of map that
maybe
might
running around. Maybe running around somewhere in the Johto region, running away from Yusin as he would canonically. Fun fact, Heart Gold and Soul Silver was over 15 years ago at this point.
In my profile picture, my profile picture may be Piplup, but I have never played a Pokemon game. Sue me. Sue me.
Oh my god, we
I'm a
need to do
LARPer.
something about this guy. This person is a certified LARPer. You know, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl came out 20 years ago in Japan, right?
Well,
I would bet a good amount of money that a lot of people in this tournament are not even 20 years old.
Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know. USC kind of skews older, actually.
Yeah,
this is a long tournament.
But it is a bit of an old people tournament, but still. Lots of young players in the OSU community. And a lot of them probably weren't around when your profile picture got released. But here we are into Glacier Fall immediately. We didn't really get to talk about this map too much as we're sort of yapping away, but some really weird sliders here, as you see. Gonna be forced to cheese those slider ticks, and I mean, I won't necessarily say that the map only gets weirder from now on, as those were some of the weirder sliders in this map, but it definitely does get quite funky as we are into the first Ki right now.
Yeah, and this map, as you mentioned, there's the reading element in our latter half, but this beginning half is all about your aim consistency, right? It's the trade from Donnie and Kips throughout this beginning section, the accuracy on Kips being the difference maker, but that big chain miss from SRR dropping a bunch of score, wins to slider break immediately after. It is immediately up to the 1v1, both of presumably the best players on their respective teams. It's Coral versus Coda, the K names coming through, and they are hoping to hold as long as possible in this halfway point. You want to make sure you aim this reverse slider coming up. It is Donnie to break on it alongside Kips again. Recovery combos from SRR and Wins neck to neck. It is the accuracy on Wins that is making the difference, the 30k difference, but whoever drops the FC in the second half will lose the match.
Yeah, this map's still balancing on a knife's edge, just 20k advantage for Stateless. You couldn't even call that an advantage, really. It's just this map being so volatile, anyone could break on any one of these strange patterns. It's so difficult to read, but all these players are doing so well keeping up with it. And as I say that, there goes Kips, and that is going to really send things flying into the direction of Stateless. Already 100,000 score after that one miss, but there is still some more map to go. Coral still on the FC, matched by Coda, but unfortunately, I think it's just a little bit too much on the side of Stateless here, as wins on a really good recovery, and also the act difference of wins versus SRR are going to mean that Stateless, after an untimely miss from Kips, is going to pull ahead in the ending seconds of this map. And I believe that is a break point.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned at the top of the hour, it was seed 16 versus 17. On paper, could be the closest match so far, and as advertised, breakpoint for breakpoint, tit for tat, we are very close. 2-2, 30 minutes into this one. And it is back over to Stateless's side. They perhaps saw the error in their ways in that Fremont 3 pick, finding the consistency hiccups. The question is now, do they run for HR2, or do they try going into this more techish avenue, go for some of the other weird stuff? Of course, the creator's still available to them. I think they are preferential to some of the higher AR, higher volatility maps in this pool. Could be a play.
I mean, I think one interesting pick that kind of goes with the line of aim mechanics as well as tech is actually, surprisingly enough, the No Mode 1. There's some strange parts to that map. Like, there definitely is a lot of just raw aim to it. But apparently I am just wrong, and they're going to be going for the No Mode 4 as you continue your train of correct predictions.
Hey, I'm not captain because I'm great at the game. I'm captain because a brother knows ball. That's all it is. I mean, it is the creator. We are going into hybrid snap alt, as well as some rhythm elements, right? There's some different BPM scattered throughout this one. Plenty of song representation on that AR10 UD9. So, Stateless looking to open up some doors with a win on this pick, right? Because of course you, in theory, may have a high AR advantage, but this map could be similar in the snap alt and aim elements to something like DT1. So a success here could mean a success there. Could bring you up to match point if all goes according to plan for Stateless. Meanwhile, Tennessee, after the breakpoint switch up, it is remaining to be seen where the consistency really lies, right? It was a bit of a struggle on that Nomad 2 to hold on to a combo above 300 for those supporting players. So Satako, Koda, SRR back to the core 3 for Tennessee, who've been performing the best so far in this match, hoping to bring this one back.
Yeah, the alt pick, not too much information on who would necessarily be favored on this, but given the analysis we've had so far, maybe Stateless trying to make something happen here. We are getting into the map. It's going to be, as you already announced, the rosters for Tennessee. On the side of Stateless, we do have Wins, Destros, and Donnie in for this one. Perhaps some of the gimmick familiarity going to be helping out with the alt skill set, which, although it does lean mechanically, some people will say it's a little bit gimmick-filled in terms of having to process some less standard patterns. But this map in particular, it does lean rather aim-heavy, as you're already seeing, and the flow alt is also quite spaced.
Yeah, it is a lot of nerve control to be had on this one. Donnie actually finding a slight over-aim there before we go into our back and forth pattern. This is one of 3 throughout the map. A star, the back and forths, and it is all players to hold through it prior to our next key eye. The spacing, jumps in the snap alt, the burst to come through these big cross screens. Donnie wins, both finding the double drop. Meanwhile, all 3 combos on Tennessee. Coda with the recovery, holding on tight in our first quarter to bring up this 35k lead prior to Zatako's drop. But it is Destros versus the world right now. The sporting combo is just a little bit better on Tennessee's side.
Yep, SRR still holding on to the FC to match Destros and Coda. Finding a little hiccup in the early parts of the map, but now healthily on a recovery as we go into the second verse. Donna not having the best of times, or Donnie not having the best of times so far on this map, as they do find another combo break. Starting to look concerning as this scoreline continues to tilt in the favor of Tennessee, but of course we do still have those big combos on the board. Those are going to be the heavy hitters that determine how this match ends up turning out. Another big aim pattern, not going to be catching anyone out. Fortunately, it is quite slow, only around 140 BPM on the cross screens, so plenty of time to slow down and properly process the pattern, aim those, and we are into the second Ki section. There goes another big chain miss from Donnie, however, just really not feeling super consistent on the flow alt, as that is where they keep on missing, just aiming a little bit too wide. Looking pretty good on the snaps on the back and forths there. Finally, Zetako does trade out the recovery, quite delayed, but these two big combos in the middle of your screen, SRR and Destros still going strong, and a slight advantage on the recovery of Coda over Wins is going to mean that this lead has slowly crept up to over 150,000, approaching 200,000 for Tennessee, and this lead is still not budging.
Yeah, this is incredibly scary here. If Tennessee drops the FC, there is still a chance for Stateless. There's still about 300 potential score between Sir and Destros in the second half. Bakoda's recovery just a little bit bigger than Wins is, hoping for some extra breaks regardless of side. But it is not going to be budging for either of these FCs. Sir on a bit of a tear here in his first 3 maps, getting above the 800k on the DT2, and now clocking it in here on this and on the Stateless pick for the breakpoint, back to back. And Donnie unfortunately not having the greatest of time, but the rest of the lobby, Coda and Sir, to lock in this W. Zetako as well with that recovery 600 combo. Very nice from Tennessee, but this is starting to become a bit of a dogfight here, Bless. It's been breakpoints only for these last 3 picks.
Yeah, I think the big breakpoint on the free mod 3, followed up by another breakpoint on the no mod 2, has really thrown the script out the window. You know, Tennessee, the supposed gimmick team, winning so heavily on winning so heavily on the free mod tapping, and then picking into the gimmick but losing it and with some really weak supporting scores, mind you. It was really only Coda to find the FC on a really strong score there. Unfortunately, not able to cobble up enough combo on the supporting players for that one, and at this point, the script has really gone out the window. Stateless picking no mod 3, but Tennessee managing to steal it away. And I do want to point out some of the accuracies on there. Multiple players above 99%. That is incredibly impressive. That is kind of stuff that you expect to see from players on the top seeded teams of this tournament.
Yeah, very cozy there for those players, but now it's up to Tennessee. They're trying to get this match point, and they're the ones picking DT1. I mentioned whoever would win that map would have that high AR advantage leading into a similar type of pick, and with Donnie finding those struggles throughout the course of that map, this is a phenomenal scout from Tennessee. Able to realize, hey, maybe the AR-10 control is a little bit on our side today. And as the rosters remain in, I'm curious to see if Stateless will switch it up, maybe put Coral in place of Donnie, or some other type of strategy, but it seems like there's not a lot of movement going on.
Yeah, I mean, this map is, being in the DT1 slot, of course, you are expecting a good amount of aim, and it does have the aim in it, does have some cross-screen jumps, also a couple of shorter 200 BPM bursts. Hanging around 9 minutes, not quite stream length, but I suppose the main feature of the map is going to be some 1/3 alt patterns. These patterns do get quite awkward, especially with how they're cut in the middle of them, and you know, Donnie, with the discomfort that they showed in the No Mod 4, specifically on the flow alt patterns there, maybe Tennessee does have someone sneaking into the stream, checking out where their opponents seem to be struggling in the maps. Maybe a good choice to see them swap out here, as they do seem to be stepping out of the lobby for just a bit. Not sure what roster Stateless is going to finalize with, but yeah, there is Coral and Destros being accompanied by Relic this time, and for Tennessee, It's going to be Sir again, looking really comfortable on the Nomad 4, hoping to put up a similar performance on the DT1 with some similarly slanted skills. Of course, the aim is going to be a little bit more intense, as is some of the tapping at a higher BPM. But should be quite comfortable here as well. Of course, the AR also being the same, AR10. But yeah, here we go, right into things.
It is immediate volatility in with this DT1. The song cracks me up. Apologies for the laughter. Destros and Coral actually finding some hiccups here. The aforementioned potential shake from all players on Stateless. As you see the three-way break, it's all going to be up to the latter half. In this top half, you're looking at the aim difficulty, but now we're going to go into this 200 BPM stream section. And right now, it's the double recovery combo and the Sir FC holding on tight. 100k lead, 200k lead, growing so rapidly. The Stateless are hoping for a bit of a miracle on this one if they're looking to avoid match point scenario.
Yeah, and there's already a 250,000 score lead in the favor of Tennessee. Things not shaping so good for Stateless. We do see lots of early misses for them, but this lead is just going to keep growing in the favor of Tennessee as they hold on to these FCs. Looking really comfortable on those streams, not really miss-aiming, and also, of course, having the raw mechanics to tap that BPM. The aim patterns also not really catching anyone out. And here you see a couple more longer stream sections. They're going to claim the combo of Relic, as Tennessee just continuing some dominance on this DT1, the mechanics, the aim, and the tapping, looking really comfortable. There goes Kips on a miss-aim on some of those cross screens, however, but I think this is just way too far gone at this point. And yeah, the map is already over. That is 800,000 score in the bag, and a point bringing them to match point.
It's Sir again. It's the Sir show throughout these high AR picks. Returning player back to form for Tennessee. Slightly lower seed than they've been in these past previous years, but making up for it in big ways with that double dub. And now that match point is in their favor, it's Stateless back against the wall. I like to say is when you're strongest, and with those high AR picks to the wayside, I'm really curious to see where they go. It was the Nomad 2 victory and the DT2 victory by the slimmest of margins. I think I would like to see them stay skewed towards the density and potential reading elements with the DT3, but now of all times to pick HR2, it feels very sketchy, Blast. It feels
very... Yeah, I'm definitely not the biggest fan of this one. You know, we have been talking about the high AR a lot recently with the Nomad 4 and the DT1, and I was going to say there is still technically one more high AR pick left in the pool, and that is this Hard Rock 2. Excuse me, the only remaining pick at AR10. Unfortunately, we don't have anything above AR10 this week, but still AR10, relatively high AR, and if you want to continue the train, this would be the map to do it, but instead it's going to be Stateless continuing the train for them. Now, of course, this map is quite different in terms of how exactly the high AR plays out. It is more at a normal standard BPM for mechanics maps at 170. Of course, the creator being an alt map, and our DT1 just now, yes, it was 200 BPM. That is quite standard, especially these days, but it does, of course, have those 1/3 in it to throw off some sense of density. This, however, is some CS 6.5 on top of that. So very small circles, once again lowering the density of the map.
Yeah, honestly, my big question mark is, like, Stateless have clearly been struggling with nerves throughout this match, or, like, Destros wins Coral. They've been doing their best to achieve despite it, but, like, the cursor shake has been evident, and unfortunately, picking the precision map and the map that, in theory, you're going to be the most nervous on, I mean, it's your winner's bracket life on the line with this one. It's It is a must-win situation for Stateless, and an incredibly scary pick to boot, but I will stand by what I said previously in the match. I do believe Stateless, off of the back of the HR1 ban from Tennessee, do have a HR mod advantage, and that was shown in the free mod too with the scorelines presented there. We'll have to see how the precision holds up, especially without a player like Suicune, who they would normally have on a pick like this for the precision difficulty. But it's Kips and Zatako in, as they were on that free mod 2 with Hard Rock. Coda, ever present throughout this match. The standout player from Tennessee, that core member who has not left the lobby since hopping in, and is going to be holding on to that FC's the Taco. Destros Coral with the triple break, wins to fall as well immediately after. It's not looking great for Stateless.
Yeah, things have very quickly gone from not looking so great to looking pretty bad, as we were talking before the match. This is a bit of a suspect pick in our eyes for them, and immediately to start us off, Stateless finding a few unfortunate breaks. Now they are traded out by Kips, a little bit delayed, but yeah, it's still going to be a decent advantage, although we do see more misses coming in from the side of Tennessee as the map goes on. It's Taco and Kips both dropping on some of the flow patterns, and of course, CS 6.5, you know, the flow aim on this, you really do have to be precise as you would be with your cursor movements, making sure you're really flowing perfectly between the notes. But still, Coda holding on to that FC is going to be keeping that score in their side of the court, in their pockets, as Stateless also dropping one of the recoveries from Destros. It still wins on a pretty nice recovery, and Coral to back him up.
Oh!
But Coral's recovery is matched, and there goes Wins on an unfortunate break. Traded out by Coda, but I think the damage might have been done already. It's 130k in the pockets for Tennessee.
They need a double break. It's still possible if you see a double combo break. Zatako falls. It is up to Kips. Coral and Destros on the recovery is looking good. It is combo advantage Stateless side, but they just need to hold their nerve in these latter sections of the map. The 100s being dropped by Coral, slowing down the recovery for Stateless. I am glued to that cursor. I am seeing near over aims consistently, but it's Kips against the world on a solo ship throughout these linear streams, and Destros able to get free combo with Coral matching Kips. It is the fall from Destros. It's only Coral, and it's at the worst time. The nerves broke. The dam has fallen, and Stateless so close to staying alive in this winner's bracket, but now just moments away from a disaster. Coral locking in the rest of the map full combo with that 555. Unfortunately, they are unlucky angel numbers in the face of a Tennessee overachievers. It is Kips and Coda with the double near 600k. Phenomenal stuff from them to stay alive in this winner's bracket and avoid the point drop there. Another 5-2 victory for the seed victor in Tennessee.
Yeah, and we have seen historically this seed matchup 16 versus 17 not really going the way of the higher seed number 16 6 out of 9 times, but now we can say that we are slowly returning to normalcy and turning that to only 6 out of 10 times as Tennessee secures another victory for seed 16 and does move on in the winner's bracket.
But
Stateless are knocked down to the loser's bracket.
Yeah, Stateless going to be continuing their journey in the land down under here. Unfortunately for Tennessee, going to be facing that number 1 seed that got a bye in South California, the former champions once more. Meanwhile, you're looking at Stateless to face the loser of match number 30, which is going to come up next weekend. So they actually get a bye as well, being the loser of that match. Hooray to Stateless. Not going to be playing in the round of 16 there. But our
quarterfinals.
Yeah, straight to quarterfinals for them. But it's going to be our continued coverage of USA States Cup coming up shortly with New Mexico versus North California, I believe, to come up in our next match. The Seed 3 versus the Seed 30. New Mexico with their first showing in USC history. We'll have to see how it goes. But Bless, thank you for joining me for this one, and we'll catch you in 5 minutes for that next match.
Of course, thank you for having me. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Don't go anywhere.